my brother.
Yo,
Are we live?
it is
Okay.
for
Technical difficulties, and they almost tried to get us today. They tried to get us today, but the loud came through. Let's check the audio real quick. Let me know if
you're
our
good.
yeah.
I'm
So
checking it right now.
volumes are balanced.
Wait, the levels are balanced. My mic sounds like garbage, but that's just because I have a rough Wi-Fi connection.
Got it. Maybe I could do something for my people could do. Okay. It's okay. Uh, okay. We're back. Mm, 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 mm. Okay. Cool.
Nice.
So today we're gonna be talking about something that I've had many conversations with friends, um, other people, not so much. Some people are more passionate about that. So, quick question for you right there: is that how you're gonna be sitting so I could frame you, correctly? Or are you gonna be leaning back? It
Yes.
depends.
I'll sit back in my chair, but I'll make sure, like, I'll watch it and make sure that I stay in frame.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. Let me just make sure. I'll fix myself. That we've had with many friends. I'm gonna delete that. Totally gonna delete. Good. So the transition should be cut. That's what it should be. Like, look at this now. Look at this. Look. Boom. Got him.
Nice.
Boom.
Nice and
Got it.
smooth.
Yeah, we're just out here. Cool. So, as I said, this is a conversation I've had with many friends. Kind of had it with you. My voice message about this,
About Christian.
or did you? If you would have answered my message, I think we were supposed to why we are here, having this conversation. Um. So again, we are definitely not like one of those channels that tries to like start any trouble between anyone. Like, definitely not it. But nice. But we are here to comment, right? Comment on things that are happening. And our buddy, and that's Andy, I'm rescued, had something to say about one of Andy Minio's clips that Proper Excel posted, and we'll listen to that first, right? To I'm rescued, to the other Andy, and then you and I can chat about this a little bit. And I don't know if there's anyone in the chat, but if you guys, and subscribe if you're not subscribed yet. And if you're gonna watch this later and you want to comment later, that's awesome too. Um, so let's see what Andy Minio said here. Oh, I have to share my screen.
Yo, it is showing us on the stream. It is showing us like slightly outside the boxes on your overlay. The way that it looks for us.
Dude, that's crazy because it doesn't look like that on like OBS has preview and program. On the preview, it shows it perfect. On the program, it does show it messed up. But when I hit studio mode like that, it doesn't show outside. Like, look at it now.
Yeah, no, it looks fine now, but on the YouTube stream. Oh, so keep it in studio mode because I just fixed it.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
can.
yeah. Studio mode fixes it. So that means I can't preview something that I want to put in. I just have to be a beast,
Okay.
which I am. You see? Okay, cool. Reaction scene. There we go. Make sure we can hear this audio real quick. We'll test it with this one. Well, there's no audio there, so I can't test it. Here, you hear that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I feel like that was hella loud, right? Okay. All right, let's listen to this.
Presidency, when people ask me, "Are you a Christian artist?"
Yeah.
is because what are you really asking when you ask that question? Because art can't be Christian.
Okay.
Things can't be Christian. People can be Christian. What they do can either be interpreted as Christian or not.
Yeah.
So it's an interpretation thing. You know what I'm realizing? What people are really asking when they say, "Are you a Christian band?"
Okay.
Because they don't ask you, "Are you a Christian?"
Right.
They say, "Are you a Christian band? Are you a Christian artist? Are you a
Okay.
Christian rap?" What do you mean by that? Am I a Christian? Or are you asking if my art is Christian? When you ask if someone's art is Christian, I think what people are saying is, can I play this around my kids?
Interesting.
is this spiritually uplifting? They're trying to quickly get a gauge on what to expect from you. They're trying to figure out what you're about, and can I engage with it? Because I think when people are asking that
That's
question,
fair,
they're
though.
going, "I'm really trying to only get stuff in my life that's positive, clean." And do you know why I have a tough time answering it? Sometimes people go, "Are you a Christian artist?" And I go, what I said, I was like, "Yes, mostly." And I think people go, "How do you? What do you mean?" And they think that I'm like denying Jesus.
Yeah.
Absolutely in no way.
You see
Am
who
I
we're
denying-
following on the account.
You saw who we follow on the account. There's only one.
Clearly not denying Jesus.
In no way am I denying Jesus, trying to be like, "Oh, let me cool guy my way out of answering that question." No.
Oh, wow.
What I'm saying is, if you're really asking if my music is safe for all ages and sanitized and clean to play around kids, then I would say most of the time. But there are certain times when I tackle adult topics
Right.
and I use punchlines or things that might not be appropriate, but because there's some nuance to the thing that I do, and it's not always sanitized and safe for kids. Safe for kids in all ages. The Bible.
Yeah, it's probably worse than our music, actually.
By all metrics, if you're asking if
Far
something is
worse.
Christian based on whether or not it's sanitary and safe for all ages, then then you'd have to say the Bible's not Christian.
Yeah, right.
Which is
right.
insane. There's Goliath getting his head chopped off.
Yeah, the kid took one to the dome.
Yeah. We're talking about scandal. We're talking about David sleeping with old boy's girl,
Oh, yeah, right.
Bathsheba, and then murdering him. I mean, this is drama. I think the only reason there's hesitancy when people ask me, "Are you a Christian artist?"
Yeah.
is because what are you?
Okay. Do you want to say anything about this before we get to what Andy I'm Rescued said?
I mean, I've got a lot of thoughts. I've got a lot of I could kind of respond to what Andy Mineo said. I've got a lot of thoughts, but I'm interested to see what I'm Rescued has to say about it.
Okay. All right, let's go to Andy. But while I pull that up, is this something that you have wrestled with?
Yeah, big time. When I started dropping my own solo music, I wouldn't consider myself a Christian artist. The music definitely had, Christian themes because as a believer, I was writing about the things that I was thinking about and wrestling through, but I wasn't overt with it. I wasn't directly talking about and to God in the music. I was just talking about the way that I was processing things. But I think that's kind of shifted lately.
Okay.
And I mean, part of it was I was caving to social pressure. A lot of the spheres that I was in were very much not Christian, and I didn't want to be weird. I wanted to be a successful artist. I was making connections. I was getting to travel places, and I felt like whether this was internal or actually how things were, it would feel weird to me to be overt with the Christianity incredible ways over the last few years for me. So it only makes sense to be more open and obvious with yo, God is good. Might as well.
I'll talk a little bit about my experience in a sec, but let's see what Andy's got to say about Bible Day.
An artist
Yeah.
is because what are you really asking when you ask that question? Because art can't be Christian, can be Christian. What they do can either, you know what I'm really
I absolutely love Andy Mineo, so this video is in by no means shade to him. I think he's done extraordinary things for the Christian hypothetical scenario. So I'm extremely hungry. I walk into a restaurant, sit down, look at the menu, and I want something to eat. So the waiter comes over and he's like, do you know what you want to order? And I'm like, yes, right away. Takes the menu, walks away, and now I'm sitting in eager anticipation for this cheeseburger. And after a few minutes, the waiter comes back and he puts his plate. Waiter leaves. I pick up this cheeseburger. I can't put my finger on it, but something doesn't taste right. Maybe it's all in my head, so I take another bite. And after the second bite, I'm like, no, there's something wrong with this cheeseburger. So I look at my friend and I'm like, so my friend's like, what do you mean, bro? Just taste it and kind of off, right? I'm not sure what it is. So the waiter comes over. This cheeseburger tastes funny. It tastes off. Like, what kind of meat did you use? Is it expired? And the waiter looks at me and says, meat? We don't use meat. What are you talking about? These are vegan patties. This is a vegan cheeseburger. But I didn't want a vegan patty. I wanted a beef patty. Oh, no, sir, I'm so sorry. We only make vegan cheeseburgers. And so even though it looked like a cheeseburger, it walked like a cheeseburger, it talked like a cheeseburger, and smelled like a cheeseburger, the contents inside of the cheeseburger were not disclosed, and it was slightly deceiving. This is why people get into the semantics of, are you a faith-based artist? Are you a Christian hip-hop artist? Are you a Christian artist? Do you just make faith-based music? Semantics provide plausible deniability. If you are selling brownies, they better have chocolate in them. Hey, Peter, aren't you one of Jesus' disciples? No, bro. Okay. You dodged the bullet. We were about to stone you. Grace and peace.
I think the only reason there's hesitancy when people ask me, are you a Christian artist?
Wow. Okay.
If I'm understanding I Am Rescued's perspective a little better, I think he's saying what you label yourself helper in this case, get like understand what they're going to be listening to. But as an artist, I tend to lean more to Andy Mineo's side of things. And I don't fully agree with either side.
So where do you stand? What?
I think, dude, I don't even know. It's kind of a hard meta to start unpacking. Makes a lot of sense. Self-proclaimed Christian artists more now that I've started taking my faith super seriously in the last like 5 to 10 years than I did before that, because before that I was just looking for what sounded good, for inspiration for matters a lot to me at this point. Like, I couldn't quote you the exact scripture passage, but talks about comes out basically. Mm-hmm. And so I don't want to be dwelling on and consuming a lot of things that glorify sin. And having a Christian label smacked on an artist's work is a pretty surefire way to make kind of content. As an artist, though, because of the structure of today's Christian music industry, to label yourself as Christian, and it will out of the ears of a lot of potential listeners, because a lot of like the music that I'm making is for the kinds of people that I identify with. People kind of on the fringes of culture, skateboarders, artists, people on the edges. A lot of people who are actively seeking Christian music are not those kinds of people. And I also don't know, like I was saying, there's like a lot to unpack here. I also don't like the way that there is a pressure for Christian artists to create a very specific way.
Yeah.
Like as an artist, I think it makes sense to say I'm an artist who is a Christian, because that allows me more creative. Like, Christian is a descriptor of artist. You are an artist. That is, I don't.
A lot, like I said, yeah, a lot to unpack there. So I think and we'll revisit this later, but I think you and I kind of either disagree or just have like slightly different understanding of, by you labeling yourself as a Christian artist, like all of a sudden, like what that does is that pushes a bunch of other people that you're trying to, because of the way you've labeled yourself and blah blah blah. You and I have had private conversations where I say, well, I really disagree with that, because I don't think that some people are not going to be reached because of the decisions that you make. I think God's going to reach whoever he's called and has chosen already, whether it's through your music or something else. And I don't think we should make decisions of what we label our music or our work based on, like, if it comes from the Christian who I can reach or can't. That's just my be like, well, this is the art that I make. This is what it is. Now, where I do should be labeled Christian music or Christian artist or not, and that is something that I've battled for some time, is where for a long time I thought that I did not fit into the Christian music industry. Like I was like, oh, like this seems like anything that I just, because I don't fit in the Christian music scene. Like I understand why worship from the spiritual things. Yes, they are making Christian art. They're making worship music. But also their music fits that industry. It will be pushed by the industry. Like all like people like that. I'm like, yeah, like they've been embraced by the CCM. But what
Right.
happens when there's an artist that is not embraced by CCM or isn't embraced by the whole Christian thing, you know? Even if like I believe that I am a Christian artist. I'm a Christian and I make Christian art. I'm not that art won't always um be happy. Like as Andy was saying, like sometimes some of this art like has some tones that are not like the happiest, and yeah, maybe are not necessarily for your kids, but I will not call myself a Christian artist. Oh, I didn't want to call myself a Christian artist because I was like, yeah, I like don't fit here. I remember I was asked to make my music 30% more Christian radio. That was annoying. But I don't know, I guess we don't necessarily have an answer to this. The what I'm rescued was saying, the whole like burger thing, like it was difficult for me to follow after a while. I was like, dude, well, like what are you saying? Like um
Yeah.
like I
Yeah.
get the point you're trying to make, but I was like, it's not that black and white.
No, I don't think his analogy fit very well, and I think he kind of missed the point. I understand what he's saying, but like for example, the I made a post on Instagram like a year and a half ago when I officially decided to start accepting the label of like a Christian artist and to be overt
Mhm.
with putting my faith in my music. And I had one of my friends approach me afterwards who was being supportive, and they asked, "So you're making church music now?"
Mhm.
And I think that's like for the lay person, like CCM. And I think that's the problem with most people's understanding. It's not that
But wouldn't you say
I'm not a,
that's where we can make the difference?
it is, yes, but I think I don't know. I think you're trying to change the opinions of two different groups of people with that, because on one hand, a lot of Christians don't like CCM, and so they recognize, Christian music can sound like a bunch of different genres of music: hip hop, metal, alternative rock. There's some country, there's some folk. Like there, a lot of subgenres exist within the Christian music sphere. A lot of genres of music exist that have Christian lyrical themes. To exposed to CCM, who may be a believer, or like a person who's not a believer, they hear Christian music and they think like Kirk, like CCM, and so it's weird to try and bridge that gap.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm in the place where like I'm like, well, I'm just gonna let my music speak. Like, if people ask me, I mean, I've met a lot of people at coffee shops and just had conversations. They're like, oh, what it was Christian music, but kind of sounds different. Like, it's not like Christian radio, so you won't hear it like at a church or Christian radio. They're like, oh, really? I'm like, yeah. Um, I'm like, yeah, my music's just about life, but it comes from the perspective of a Christian. So, um, they listen to it and they're like, yo, that's dope. Um, but I think if it like ends there, that's the way you explain your music. Like, yeah, I make Christian music, but like it's not for Christian radio or church.
Yeah, because as a listener myself, I'm looking for, or I guess I'm listening for the way the music sounds before I'm listening for lyrical content.
Mm.
So if somebody asks me what kind of music I make, I'll tell them, well, here's like my top, because to me the sound of the music is the thing that's going to hit people before the lyrics.
Yeah, I agree. Agree. Um, where I stand with this whole thing is the person is the Christian, right?
Right. Right.
The person is the Christian. Um, and I do think that the art itself has a life. Um,
Right.
and I don't know if what I'm about to say is like heretical or not. Someone can like check me theologically, but like, there's the spirit. I think the art itself, regardless of what it's talking about or not, I think can be spiritual. So it can be Christian.
Yeah, I agree.
Then, right?
Yeah, for sure. I just started listening to them again this last week. Is 21 Pilots. I was a huge 21 Pilots fan in middle school, kind of fell off, started listening to
I've
a
never listened to
bunch of
them.
different stuff. Their latest record is pretty good. It's still, I mean, it's still 21 Pilots. They've gotten a little less corny. Initially, that's why I stopped listening, because they were cool when I was a middle schooler, and then I started listening to other stuff and I thought they were corny. But I've got a really close friend from high school who is a believer and he loves 21 Pilots. They're not an overtly Christian band, and they do the world building thing and the storytelling thing very well. They're creating art on a very high level,
Yeah.
but they're believers. They're not overtly Christian with their music, but those themes are still found in their music. And like this friend of mine has said, I've felt God speak through through church music.
Yeah.
And so stuff like that,
Yeah, because
where
like some of these songs, like, dude, some of the most like spiritual moments have been, of course, through scripture, but a lot of them have been through music that's done by Switchfoot. Like some of the topics in those songs, like, say that, um, and sometimes like uses to talk to us, and so yeah, like, 21 Pilots, Switchfoot is one of them, like Reliant K, like, dude, even Dayglow, like, I really think Dayglow is Christian. Like, he's a Christian dude. Um, but his music he's just making good music. But um, I don't know. It's a weird subject. I mean, I don't have any answers. It'd be really cool to bring someone on later down the road. I had a conversation with Eluzai about this on Monday. But it'd be cool bring him on about what he believes. I think he has a very interesting perspective on that.
for sure, I think hip hop is an interesting space too, because and all that stuff, but it's like CCM and Christian hip hop. Sound like he gets a pass because he had it easier. But I would be interested to hear his perspective on that, because I feel like the leap is less scary from
Yeah.
what he was doing to Christian hip hop.
Yeah.
That lane already existed. That lane doesn't quite exist for our genres of music yet.
Yeah, and like CHH is mainstream. Like
Yeah.
it's mainstream. Um what we do, like Christian indie music, like it's not,
I mean,
but there's still a lot of like if you go to the mainstream, where like secular mainstream, like there are some indie artists that like look at a Claro, right? Like you look at like um
she's an industry plant. I love her music, but she's an industry plant.
yeah, we could talk about that another day. It's fine. But the point is, these are artists that are, even as indie, whatever it is that they are, they're still pretty well known, right?
Right.
I feel like we really don't have that. We really don't. Yo, you still there, dog? Yo, you still there, dog? Did I lose you, bro? Yeah, back. Let me bring you back in. Um, what happened? Did got it. I'll bring you back in. Dude, don't do that again, dude. Don't leave. Um, nah, I know what happened. My computer was dying. Yeah, my computer was dying, and I was like, "What the heck's happening?" Like the whole thing froze, and I just plugged it back in. Um, cool. There you are. You're back. You're back. We're back. We are so back. Okay. What I was saying that some of I just think they're indie worship. You know what I mean? They make super cool music. And I've like they're really good. I really like them back in the day. I'll send you some of their stuff, but I don't know. And then there are some indie artists that are not so indie anymore that are making Christian pop, I would say, like alternative pop, like a Bodhi, right? And then that girl that says, "I went to the gym and then therapy and then I don't know."
Yes.
Yeah. So you know,
Can't stand that music, to be honest, bro.
you can't stand that genre.
It's
No,
just
we're not saying we can't stand her. Like we don't know her. She's probably super cool. You're saying that,
not as a person.
yeah, like
That
that vibe.
song.
Okay, that vibe. Okay, I don't necessarily have a problem with that song or that vibe. I would say, um, I don't like when artists like can become gimmicky, which that's one of the things we've criticized about Forrest, which is like finding a formula that works and just doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Because then it's like, okay, like, is that all you can bring to the table? Like, are you just complaining? Like, is that what you're
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah. I think here's the thing about those artists though, like a Bodhi, and I forget what that girl's name is, but I know who you're talking about. To me, if I'm gonna listen to that kind of music, which I wouldn't find myself listening to normally, I would rather listen to the secular alternative of that, just because I feel like the secular artists are doing that sound better than a lot of Christian artists.
So to me, yes and no, because I mean that's very subjective. Whether they're
Right.
doing it better or not, like that's up to someone's liking. But a teen, right, that I am trying to live out my Christian life, and maybe I need an artist that I can relate to. I'd probably still listen to Bodhi, and I'd listen to that girl over the secular stuff if what I'm trying to do is fill my temple with something that's more like that I know comes from a source that is Christ led. Why?
Right.
Because it's not, I don't care what's going inside my brain, inside my body. Like I'll just
Right.
I'll listen to secular music. But if I'm consciously being like, yo, like I want whatever goes in my ears, in my mind, to be, again, because we think music is spiritual. I want it to be led by Christ, and I want to hear these topics. I want to hear about depression. I want to hear about laziness or whatever it is that the thing is. I want to hear from the perspective of a believer. So if I'm conscious about what I'm feeding myself with, yes, I will listen to them more than Billie Eilish or anyone else, because I don't know spiritually what is behind that music. Could be nothing. It could be a whole lot of something.
Right.
So that is my argument to why I do think that music about, like, you can say the same thing about OM53. It's like, why would I listen to OM53 like when I could just listen to Tame Impala? Like, why would I listen to them when I can listen to whatever else people think our music sounds like? He did it, and he'll do it way better every single time, right? Like in that perspective, right? Of like sonically, what's better? Well, what are we bringing to the table? We're bringing our take of music that we like, and bringing
One where I'm trying to get at least myself, and I mean, I think that we're both on the same page with this, is rather than being the Christian alternative to secular artists.
Yeah, no, it's not being
Getting to the point, no, not necessarily alternatives to secular artists. I think here's what I'm getting at with a lot of Christian artists and their secular counterparts. A lot of Christian artists are behind when it comes to creating with excellence. A lot of Christian artists are chasing trends that are a couple years old by now, and because a lot of Christians,
would you say that they're chasing trends, or they're just creating something they like? Because like for me,
and it might be both, but I think here's where I'm at with that. If they're trying to reach their target audience of youth group kids,
but what if they're not? Like, what if they're just creating something they like? Like for me, I have no I don't have a plan. Like I'm not like sitting there being like, "Yo, what is my target audience like did this?" No, like
Right.
I'm just making something I like. And
Right.
what I like in this moment is something that was like popping like 3 years ago, because finally it hit me. Finally it hit me and I was like, "Oh shoot, like yeah, I like that. Like let me try to genuine." Like I don't think we should be, unless you're on a label, and they're telling you, "Yo, like you have to reach the Gen X or whoever the frick or whoever Gen Z's."
Right. No, if I'm coming from a perspective of having a heart for this community, this group of people that I identify with, and I want to share the gospel with, and I am behind the trends of what that community of people is into, I'm not going to be as effective at reaching them as
But then now your art is not a tool or something else. It's secondary. It's okay. So your main goal is to identify and reach a certain demographic, a group of people that you have a heart for. So you're like, okay, I have a heart to reach those people for Christ. So what am I gonna do? I'm gonna use my music to reach them, right? So now your music is conditioned to that cause. So, in my opinion, right now, it loses a little bit of authenticity, because then it's like, okay, now I'm trying to do things to reach the community. I'm trying to do things to see what clicks with them, instead of creating something that's just genuine who you are in this moment of life, and it reaches who it reaches, and it identifies with whoever it identifies. And it's funny because I've had conversation with some artists that they're like, "Yo, literally, like the people that listen to my different than me. Like like we have nothing in common besides the fact that they like my music." Um, so to me, like genuine music is music that you make, that you love, that just pours out of you because of the certain things that are happening in your life and the different influences that you find at a given moment of your life. What's best in that moment, and who you end up reaching is who God wants you to reach, because that's the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is that there is something inside of you that needs to be born, and the things that you don't know. And that's my perspective and my understanding of that, what you're saying that you do, right? Which is to identify a group of people. I have a heart for those people. Now I know that though, in order to reach those people, I have to create this, and I have to make it like this, because if I don't make it like this, then they're not gonna like it. I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
and here's what
But
I
anything wrong with it at all. It's a strategy, and it's a way of doing things. But in my small perspective, I do think that it makes the music that you'd create a tiny bit, like 2% less authentic, because that you're already conditioned. You're conditioned to create something that must appeal to a group of people.
I think when I'm choosing to make music, I do understand what you're saying, and I think what I'm getting at is fit that group's tastes is because my tastes already align with that group's tastes. If that makes sense. It is not inauthentic because not only do I have a heart for this group of people, I enjoy what they enjoy as well. And I want to make something that I will enjoy objectively as well as something that they will enjoy and that will reach that group of people.
Okay, but if you can do that, you can do that without being worried about what they like, because eventually you change. Eventually you will change
Right.
as a person. Uh what are those called? Preppy people, like all these like different like groups of people, they change with time. Or like I remember that there was this whole thing about like hipsters. Like hipsters used to be like the scene kids from like the early 2000s. They just ended up shifting, but they all still listen to all these groups of people change. So to me, like, yes, you are 100% being genuine. Like you are 100% being genuine. Conversation right here. But I think that
Sure.
there'll be one point in your life where you're like, I don't know, like maybe I don't like that anymore. And like, what if what you create that just doesn't fit with what those people like? Like, what if one day, like, dude, you're so passionate about making, and I know this will never happen, or maybe it will. Like it happened to Post Malone. He like wanted to do some country project, and I honestly thought, like, I think he kind of nailed it for him. Like his version of it, I thought it was really cool. But like, I don't know, maybe Post Malone, like maybe he was like, yo, no, but like the people that like, you know, listen to my music, like they wouldn't like country. Being an artist, being uh being a hope this doesn't sound like pretentious or whatever it is. Being creating the music life, and I think people that see you as very genuine and people that love your story will follow you through your whole story. And that'll mean changes in genres. That'll mean changes in many things, even ideologies. There's some people that like believed in certain things and now they don't. They believe other things, but their fans follow them through because they're like, yo, I really respect the fact that this person is sticking to their guns and doing what they do. It's like, wow, they used to do hip hop, now they do country music. That's awesome. I would love to see them express themselves in whichever way they are being true in that moment. Catering to a certain group is bad or not genuine. Um, but I would say that you should do that as long as that's who you identify with in that moment, and as long as it's making you happy in that moment.
Right.
That there should never be a moment where you're like, yo, like I can't pivot. I
Right.
can't
And
pivot right now.
my goal is to make art that is timeless, to make art that I can look back on and I'll still appreciate it just as much as I do while I'm making it. I don't want to make something that, like, I don't know, for example, like 2010s metalcore. Like it has a very specific sound and it's kind of nostalgic to listen to, but it's very dated in a bad way.
Yeah.
I don't want to make something that's dated in a bad way. Like, sure, it's going to sound like the things that are coming out right now because that's what I'm listening to, but I want to make something that I can come back to 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and go, this is a great album.
Yeah.
This is a great record. This is a great story. This is like like the things that I like just happen to play into what a certain group of people likes. And in order to try and make this a career, I feel like it would be unwise not to try to market it to the right people and not to try and cater it in some way or another, and also the art that you create. And at the end of the day, my goal with my art is for it to be worship, whether that is overt praise or whether that is just utilizing the fact that I was created in the image of God, therefore it's the beauty of our creator God.
Yeah.
Like that is my purpose in creating across the board.
Yeah, for me, my number one goal and number two is to create music that genuinely shows people who I am in this moment of my life. And I hope you can identify to who I am today. And maybe some people will identify to who I am today in 10 years. In 10 years, I'll be like, yo, like, yeah, what that guy was doing in that moment, that's where I'm at right now. Those are my only two goals. And and number three, hopefully it provides for my family. But yeah, dog, this is a fire chat. I think honestly these little podcasts are getting better. We are HD. I just checked it, so HD is working. Yeah, I'm glad we had that conversation here because we've had conversations like this through voice. When we do it through voice notes, it's like the voice note is like 6 minutes, and then like I like remember what I wanted to say to like the first 2 points, but by the time we get to point number 4, I'm like, oh, dude, what did I want to say about that?
Yeah, that is not the ideal way to have
Yeah.
conversations about deeper topics.
Yeah, which you send me an audio message that's super long. Like I think it was like 5 minutes. I gotta listen to that one, so I'll listen to that.
Bet.
I gotta run. This was awesome. This was super awesome. Listening to this or watching this later. Love you guys. We have 2 new songs out. We have Poverty Tax, which is the last song from our album Letting Go of Yesterday, OM53. And then MX versus the Railroad Industry collabed with OM53. Ooh, world building. For a song called "Been a Part of." I think probably ever. And this upcoming Friday, MX versus the Railroad Industry, which we're just gonna call MX for now. MX.
That's
and
me. In case y'all missed
Yes.
the joke.
Yep, and Jordan Michael collabed on a song called "Plastic People," and that'll come out this Friday. Yep,
Yeah.
with OM53.
Episode 3, episode 2.
It's episode 4, but really episode
Oh,
3
4.
because we. Oh no, episode 3 because the other one was a New Music Friday. So yeah, episode 3.
Yeah.
But yeah, love you guys. See you next time.